Welcome to Conversations with Zaki Baruti, your host, Zaki Baruti. And like always, for each program, I want to give a shout out to my biological family, what's going on, as well as a shout out to my UAPO family, which is the Universal African Peoples Organization, as well as a shout out to New Life Evangelistic Center headed by Reverend Rice. I want to really just salute Reverend Rice for his work, especially with the homeless, and it's just my honor to be shoulder to shoulder with Reverend Rice, and I would call upon everybody that's listening at the show, at our program, of course, to be supportive of New Life Evangelistic Center. Tonight, we're going to have a different kind of format. Tonight, I'm going to just really do a monologue as it relates to the Universal African Peoples Organization, of which I'm the head, and I use the title President General. And the Universal African Peoples Organization was founded on April the 4th, 1989, as an extension of my candidacy for governor of the state of Missouri, which I ran for governor in 1984, as well as in 1988. And as the extension of my candidacy, some of the key people who was working with me on my campaign, we decided that we wanted to continue our struggle to uplift our people politically, socially, economically, until we see ourselves as free at last without any kinds of oppressive conditions being placed upon us as a people within the confines of this country, as well as throughout the world. Normally, when I have a guest, I always ask the guest to give a little background of themselves. So I'm going to do likewise for myself. I'm the oldest of 10 children. I was actually born in Aberdeen, Mississippi, although was raised in East St. Louis, especially in an area that was called the South End. My parents never graduated from high school, but they were hardworking, dedicated parents, and I believe and I know for a fact that they did a great job with the 10 children that they raised. I graduated from Lincoln High School in 1965, as well as I went to Southern Illinois University, and I have 2 degrees, one in history, as well as a master's degree in education administration. I'm a retired educator of over 33 years that is, from East St. Louis School District 189. I've written a couple of booklets on education. One is entitled Challenge, the Building of a Clean, Prosperous Black Community Through Our Educational System, as opposed to The Conspiracy, which was published in 1980, as well as I published a second booklet called The Challenge Part 2, Can We Do It?, which was published in the following year in 1981. I was a former union activist, second vice president of East St. Louis Federation of Teachers, Local 1220, as well as chaired the Political Action Committee of our union. I've been blessed to travel extensively. I've been to about 27 countries. Met the heads of at least 4 countries, including the former leader of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi. I've met the president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, the president of the Sudan, Omar Bashir, as well as the president of Nicaragua, Daniel Ortega. But I'm really excited about tonight because I would like to kind of give an overview of our organization. As I had made mention, the organization was founded on April the 4th, 1989. And we chose April the 4th because historically, as everyone knows, April the 4th was the date of the assassination of Dr. King. And to that end, as an organization, we made a commitment that we would go forth in his spirit of seeking social justice and equality. But also as an organization, we were founded in the spirit of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who led one of the largest organizations ever here in the United States with a membership of over 4 million, under the organization at that time that was called the Universal Negro Improvement Association, where he had membership all across the United States, the West Indies, and even into Africa. And we also, as an extension of us studying Marcus Garvey, our motto as an organization is one God, one goal, one destiny. We say one God because we believe, irregardless of people's different religious beliefs, that everyone believes that there's something greater than us, that put the trees here, that got the clouds up in the sky, and et cetera, et cetera. We say one goal, which he at that time said one aim. We changed it to goal, and that goal should be for us as a people to try to make a difference, to become liberated, and to have our fair share of all the goods that exist here in this society. And we say one destiny because we believe that us as a people, once we get ourselves together, that we will be able to bring about the kinds of changes that need to take place in our community and throughout the world. Our other vision in terms of an organization is that we have a vision of building a movement of the number of 144,000 dues-paying members who would be willing to make a contribution of $25 per year on an annual fee. And we say that, and our goal is that, because in order to bring about change, there needs to be an army of people who are willing to come together to make a change for the betterment of our community. As I had made mention earlier about the homeless situation, what Reverend Rice is trying to do, as a collective, if we can come together, then we could put the end to homelessness in our communities. We can put the end to the unemployment of our community when we mass ourselves together in a united force. So it's in that spirit, in terms of one of the visions of the organization that we are pushing, and that's that membership drive of 144,000. On that note, we're going to just take a quick break, and we'll be back on the flip side to continue our discussion of the Universal African People's Organization. Welcome back to Conversations with Zaki Baruti as we discuss the Universal African People's Organization, which has been in existence since April 4th, 1989. And I was just sharing with you our vision as an organization, our motto. And one of the visions is building a force of 144,000 like-minded people who want to make a difference in our community. Our organization has also been on the forefront of speaking truth to power on international issues, national issues, as well as local issues. And in our effort to do that, in the past, we've had a radio talk program for over 6 years, which was called the Power Hour, Let's Get Busy. And I'm so honored to have this TV program called Conversations with Zaki. Along with us trying to educate people, we also publish a newspaper, which is called the African News World. And on each of our covers, we focus on a issue that's real relevant to our community. And this is a past issue where we was focusing on the case of a gentleman named Reggie Clemens that is very controversial. And we encourage you to keep abreast of that particular case. And it involves a young man who maintains his innocence in the death of 2 young ladies that were allegedly pushed off the Chain of Rock bridge some years back. Another newspaper in the cover of it, as you see, we also are talking about, again, projecting the 144,000, as well as in this particular issue of our newspaper, we talk about the United States Army's chemical experiment on Black St. Louis in the Pruitt-Igoe projects some years back. Again, another issue, our organization was very involved in the Ferguson uprising. And on the cover of this particular issue, you see scenes from Ferguson with the militarized police, and we have a topic that says police violence, America on trial, moving forward, how do we respond? And then we have 3 areas that we as a people as an organization feel that our people need to consider as a collective as far as responding to the social issues of the day. And one, we say reform. Another, when we say reform, trying to bring about positive change within the system. Revolution. Historically, there's been revolution all across the planet Earth when people are totally upset with the social structures of that time or place. And then the whole question of separation, because historically there have been those who advocate that as a people, maybe we need to consider separating. Another issue, and which I'm going to be getting into most recently, our organization encouraged, and historically, we encourage people to run statewide, not just, first of all, in the state of Missouri, but also across the United States to seek our fair share of political power. On the front cover of this particular issue, we say the Universal African Peoples Organization salutes 21st century political trailblazers for the 2016 election campaigns in Missouri and Kansas. And historically, for the first time in the state of Missouri's history, that you had at least 4 statewide candidates as candidates in the Democratic primary, and you had black candidates, as well as a black candidate in the Republican primary. And that was historic, even though neither of the candidates were elected in the general election. Historically, one of the candidates that we did support, a young lady named Robin Smith, made history by becoming the first black female, to be nominated by a major political party for a statewide position as she ran for Secretary of State. In 2016, we had a brother running for governor named Eric Morrison. We had another brother, Reverend Tommy Pearson, running for lieutenant governor. As I made mention, we had Robin Smith running for Secretary of State. And we also had Cori Bush, who was running for United States Senators from the state of Missouri, and as well as we had a sister running for a United States Senator in the state of Kansas, and she made history by receiving 37% of the vote total, which was unprecedented in the state of Kansas, where Kansas only had a population of 6% blacks in the state of Kansas, and her name was Monique Singh Bay. In this issue, coming closer to today, we said regardless as to who becomes president of the United States, the Central Committee of the Universal African Peoples Organization renews our call for an organized force of 144,000. And last but not least, I'm just so very proud that we have come out with another edition of our most recent edition, which we publish this newspaper on a quarterly level, that says, moving forward, the vision of the Universal African Peoples Organization. You see a group picture of us, and we have below the picture our vision, and that vision, as I mentioned, one is 144,000 membership. A second is a concept of proportionate political representation, and the other concept is global Pan-Africanism. And underneath that, we have a number of people that we consider progressive Pan-Africanists, which I'm going to be discussing that whole concept of Pan-Africanism as one of our visions. So I've shared one vision, 144,000. The second vision that I would like to get into is proportionate political representation, and I'm going to deal with that on the flip side of our break. Welcome back again to Conversations with Zaki Baruti, as I do a monologue on the Universal African Peoples Organization. And anybody who have heard me so far, if you are interested about our organization, you can go to our website, which is www.uapo.org. Although we are under construction right now, making some adjustments. A lot of the past information about our organization is presently on that website, www.uapo.org, or you can contact me directly at area code 314-477-4629, which is my direct number, or our office number, area code 314-833-4151. have already went over, and hopefully everyone is clear in terms of the concept of the 144,000 that we need to have a force of folks to make a change. Along with that concept, we have the concept of global Pan-Africanism. I want people to be real clear on global Pan-Africanism. That's a concept that simply means that as people of color that we need to be supportive of each other no matter where we live here in this country, in the various different cities that we reside in, as well as throughout the world. And in fact, I'm very proud of our organization because on a Pan-Africanist level in terms of support of people outside of the country, we were blessed in the year 2003 to ship over to the country of Zimbabwe over 450 boxes of clothing and medical supplies, which I went there to actually dedicate to the government there in terms of helping that particular government of Zimbabwe. I also proudly say that in the following year, in 2004, we shipped about 540 boxes of food, water, clothing, medical supplies, educational material to Haiti in the wake of the Hurricane Ivan at that time. In 2006, we shipped approximately 9,000 books to a nonprofit agency in Ethiopia in the city of Addis Ababa, which I went as head of the organization to dedicate that. We raised in 2013, I believe, nearly $5,000 for the country of Haiti after their earthquake. And then finally, 2015, we shipped about 10,000 books to Ghana to help build a library. So that's our global Pan-Africanist work. Now, moving quickly forward, the third concept is a concept that's called proportionate political representation. Up here is a chart to my left. And we said up at the top, let's rise politically in 2016. That's when we were pushing for our people to begin to challenge for powerful positions such as governors and U.S. senators, as I had spoke to earlier. So let's rise politically, and we're still saying that in 2017, 2018, with a bold vision and powerful movement to achieve proportionate political representation. What is proportionate political representation? That concept simply means that whatever percentage we are as a people on the national, state, and local levels of this country, then we should have that percentage of political representation power, just our fair share of the political goods of this country. However, it is projected that we as a people are 13% of the national population of this country. Then we're saying if that's the case, we should have that percentage of political representation. However, statistically, it is estimated that there's over 500,000 publicly elected positions, 511,000 close to the exact number. Sadly, to say of that number, only 10,500, we give or take 500 additional, say 11,000, 12,000, that translates to 2% or 3%, which is far under our representation. But with proportionate representation, we should have at least 66,430, which would be 13%. If you look at the governors in this country, there's 50 governors, not one is black. With proportionate representation, that should be at least 7. In 2017, there's no black governors. Moving to the total, to the House of the United States Senate, there's 100 United States senators there. Of that number, we have on this board is 2, but it was increased last year with 1. So we have 3, which translates to 3%, when ideally we should have at least 13, which would be 13%. So people, black people, fair-minded white people, that needs to change. And that's one of the things that our organization, one of the issues that our organization is pushing, the whole concept of proportionate political representation. So how do we get it? As an organization, I'm proud to say in 2015, we kicked off a movement that was called the National Black Political Leadership Conference, which was held October 30th and the 31st. We followed it up on June 3rd and the 4th with a second what we call phase 2 of our National Black Political Leadership Conference. And out of that, we had those candidates that I spoke of earlier. On that note, we're going to just take a quick break. Welcome back to Conversations with Zaki Baruti, and I'm going to just quickly wrap up today's segment of the program. Moving forward this year, our organization we're proudly announcing that in the spirit of Malcolm X, that we'll be hosting a National Black Political Leadership Conference, and what we're saying phase 3 on Friday, May 19th from 6 to 9 p.m. And we're having a kickoff program with what we're projecting as a wine and cheese cocktail reception. And it's going to be featuring Black elected officials, and that's going to be taking place at the Jewel Event Center. The following day, which is located at 407 Dunn Road, the following day, Saturday, May 20th, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and our theme being proportionate political representation, a must for our community. We will be at Cartner-Ritter College Preparatory High School, located at 701 North Spring Street, St. Louis, Missouri. Anyone interested, they can get tickets at Legacy Bookstore, which is located at 5249 Delmore, or Alpha World, which is located at 7278 Natural Bridge, or you can go online to Eventbrite, or else also visit our website, www.uapo.org, or call the numbers that I had made mention, area code 314-477-4629, or area code 314-833-4151. And at our conference, we got a number of people who have committed to being in attendance coming from out of town. We got people coming from New York, Philadelphia, all across the country. And we have some exciting speakers as we deal with the concept of proportionate political representation that the organization, Universal African Peoples Organization, is pushing. We're saying that our people need to begin challenging for all of the political positions that exist out here so that we can increase our numbers and have our say, especially in light of the fact that we are taxpayers. On that note, you have been listening to Conversations with Zaki Baruti, and I say may God bless each and every one of you who are listening to the program, and please spread the word that Conversations with Zaki Baruti is on Channel 24 at 11 p.m. each Saturday. God bless. Thank you.